Marcus stood waist-deep in mud, holding a survey map that was rapidly disintegrating in the wetland muck. This can't be right. It's exactly right, I called from the road, safe, dry, amused. This is a swamp. 10 acres of prime wetland, exactly as described in the deed, which you signed after paying me $40,000. You said you were selling me your half of the property. I did sell you my half. Of the back 10 acres, you got 50% of 20 acres. That's 10 acres. Your 10 acres just happened to be underwater 6 months of the year. He tried to wade toward me, sank deeper. The canoe he'd brought to inspect his investment floated uselessly 15 feet away. This is fraud. This is legal property division, recorded with the county, approved by the surveyor, signed by both parties. You didn't read the description before signing. That's not fraud. That's negligence. Claire, I swear. Swear all you want, Marcus. Enjoy your swamp. I'll be at the house that's still mine, on the 40 acres you don't own. I walked away, left him there, knee-deep in his own greed. My name is Claire Elizabeth Morrison. I'm 43 years old, and I just sold my brother 10 acres of worthless swampland because he tried to trick me into giving up our family property for pennies on the dollar. Let me explain how we got here. Our parents bought this land in 1978. 50 acres in rural Vermont, mountains, lake, forest. They paid $35,000 for the entire property. It was raw land, no house, no infrastructure, just wilderness. My father, Thomas Morrison, was a carpenter, spent 3 years building our house. Every board, every nail, every window, he built it with his hands. My mother, Eleanor, was a teacher. She planted the orchard, 23 fruit trees, apples, pears, cherries, plums. She tended them like children. Together they created something magical, a homestead, a sanctuary, a legacy. I grew up there, learned to swim in the lake, climbed every tree, knew every trail. That land was my childhood, my adolescence, my foundation. Marcus grew up there too, 5 years older than me, should have loved it the same way. He didn't. He resented it, called it the middle of nowhere, complained about no neighbors, no cable TV, no mall. He couldn't wait to leave. He left at 18, went to business school, got a job in finance, married a woman named Stephanie who wore heels to family picnics. They had 2 kids who'd never climbed a tree in their lives. Marcus visited maybe once a year. Christmas, sometimes Thanksgiving. Always complained about the drive, the lack of cell service, the primitive accommodations. But he never gave up his claim to the property, never said he didn't want it, just never visited, never helped maintain it, never contributed. I stayed, helped Dad with repairs, helped Mom with the orchard, eventually bought a small cabin on the adjacent 5 acres so I could be close, worked remotely as a software developer, made it work. When Dad died in 2015, Mom kept the property, maintained it, lived there alone for 7 years. I visited 3 times a week, brought groceries, fixed things, kept her company. Marcus visited twice. Funerals for family friends, stayed for the service, left immediately after. Mom died last year, September 2023, quietly, peacefully, in the house Dad built. Her will was simple. The 50-acre property split equally between Marcus and me. 50-50, no other specifications, just divided equally between my children. I thought that meant we'd co-own it, maintain it together. Maybe Marcus would visit more, appreciate what we had. I was wrong. 2 weeks after the funeral, Marcus called. We need to talk about the property. Okay, what about it? We should sell it. Sell it? Marcus, this is our family home. It's an asset, a valuable asset. Sitting empty most of the year, that's poor resource allocation. It's not sitting empty. I visit constantly, I maintain it, I use the orchard. You don't live there, neither do I. We're paying property taxes on 50 acres we're not using. That's inefficient. Inefficient? This is mom and dad's legacy. It's land, and land should be liquidated when it's no longer serving a purpose. It's serving my purpose. I love that place. Love doesn't pay property taxes. We need to sell. I'm not selling. Claire, be reasonable. The property is worth at least $800,000, maybe a million. We could each walk away with 400 to 500,000. That's life-changing money. I don't need life-changing money. I need the land. You're being emotional. I'm being sentimental. There's a difference. This place matters to me. It's just land. It's not just land. It's home. He sighed, the condescending sigh he'd perfected in business school. Fine, think about it. But Claire, we're going to have this conversation again because selling is the logical choice. We had the conversation again and again and again, every month for 6 months. Marcus's arguments evolved, got more sophisticated, more manipulative. The taxes are killing us. $12,000 annually. You're paying $6,000. I'm paying $6,000. For what? Land we don't use? I use it. Living on it is different from using it. You could use that $6,000 for something productive. Maintaining our family legacy is productive. That's nostalgia, not productivity. Next call. The house is deteriorating, needs a new roof. That's $20,000 minimum. Plus the septic system is 40 years old. That's another $15,000 to replace. We're looking at $35,000 in immediate repairs. I'll handle the repairs. With what money? I have savings. Claire, you shouldn't have to drain your savings for a house you don't live in. This is financial suicide. It's my choice. It's a bad choice. Next call. I found a buyer, developer, wants to build vacation homes, offering $900,000. We'd each get $450,000. Cash. 30-day close? No. You didn't even think about it. I don't need to think about it. I'm not selling. Claire, this is selfish. You're holding up $500,000 I could be investing, growing, using. Then buy me out. Silence. What? Buy me out. Pay me $450,000. Take the whole property. Do whatever you want with it. I don't have $450,000 liquid. Then I guess we're keeping it. That's when his strategy changed. Instead of trying to convince me to sell to a third party, he started trying to convince me to sell to him for less. Claire, I've been thinking, what if I bought your half? Not for $450,000, I can't afford that, but for something reasonable, something that benefits both of us. How much are you thinking? $200,000? I laughed. You think my half is worth $200,000 when the whole property is worth $900,000? That's insulting. It's a discount for family. Plus, you'd avoid the hassle of a traditional sale. No realtor fees, no inspections, quick close. No, thank you. $250,000. Marcus, my half is worth $450,000. If you want to buy me out, that's the price. That's unreasonable. That's market value. Fine, I'll keep paying my half of the taxes, but don't come crying to me when you can't afford repairs. He was trying to wait me out, force me into financial distress, then swoop in with a lowball offer I'd have to accept. Classic Marcus, ruthless, calculating, greedy. But I had a plan, one he didn't see coming. I called a surveyor, Matthew Chen, local guy, experienced. Matthew, I need the family property surveyed. 50 acres, split into 2 equal parcels. Equal in size or equal in value? That's a good question. What's the difference? Equal in size means 25 acres each, but land value varies. Lakefront is worth more than forest. Forest is worth more than wetland. If you split by size alone, one person could get all the valuable land. What if someone wanted to split it so they kept all the valuable land? Matthew was quiet. Then, that would be legal, as long as the parcels are clearly marked and both parties agree to the split. How would you do it? I'd survey the property, identify the valuable features lake, house, orchard, access road, then draw boundaries that put those features in one parcel. The other parcel would get whatever's left. Even if what's left is worthless? Even then, as long as both parties sign off on the division. Can you do that survey for me? Sure. When do you want to start? Tomorrow. Matthew surveyed the property over 3 days, mapped every acre, every feature, every boundary, the valuable land, house, 2 acres, lake, 5 acres, orchard, 3 acres, access road, 1 acre, usable forest, 29 acres, total 40 acres, the worthless land, wetlands, 8 acres, steep rocky slope, 2 acres, total 10 acres. If you wanted to keep the house, lake, orchard, road, and usable forest, you'd keep these 40 acres Matthew showed me on the map. Your brother would get these 10 acres, which are mostly wetland and unusable slope. Is that legal? Completely. You're dividing 50 acres into 2 parcels. You're not required to make them equal in value, just clearly defined. Both parties have to agree to the boundaries, but once they do, it's binding. What if someone signed without reading the full property description? That's on them. The description will be in the deed, filed with the county. Public record. If they don't read it, that's buyer negligence. Perfect. Do it. Create the parcels. 40 acres for me, 10 acres for Marcus. Get it filed. You're sure about this? Completely sure. The surveyor filed the division in February. Parcel A, 40 acres, including house, lake, orchard, road, forest. Parcel B, 10 acres, including wetlands and rocky slope, public record, legal, binding. Now I just had to get Marcus to buy Parcel B, without reading the full description. I called him in March. Marcus, I've been thinking about your offer. My offer? To buy my half of the property. I'm ready to sell. Silence. Then, really? What changed your mind? You were right. The taxes are a lot. The repairs are expensive. I can't afford to keep maintaining this place alone. I'm glad you're seeing reason. So, 250,000? I want 300,000. Claire, the property is worth 900,000. My half is worth 450,000. I'm offering you a $150,000 discount. That's generous. Fine, 300,000. When can we close? I need 2 weeks to get the paperwork ready. My lawyer needs to draft the deed. Why does your lawyer need to be involved? We can use mine. No, this is my sale, my lawyer, my terms. Take it or leave it. Fine, 2 weeks, send me the paperwork. I had my lawyer draft the deed, very carefully. Sale of Parcel B of the Morrison family property, 10 acres as described in survey file. 24-0315, legally recorded with Monroe County. The description was there, in the deed. 10 acres consisting primarily of wetland and steep rocky slope, bounded by the following coordinates. Everything legal, everything transparent, everything Marcus needed to read to understand what he was buying. I sent him the papers, along with a cover letter. Marcus, attached is the deed for your purchase of my portion of the family property. 10 acres as legally surveyed and recorded. Purchase price, $300,000. Please review, sign, and return. Wire transfer to my account within 3 business days of signing. He signed the same day. Didn't call with questions. Didn't ask for clarification. Just signed. Wired the money. Called me 2 hours later. Done! I own your half. Finally. Yes, you do. Congratulations. I'm going to develop it. Stephanie wants to build a vacation rental. We'll make back the $300,000 in 5 years. Good luck with that. You sound skeptical. Not skeptical. Just curious how you'll develop land you haven't visited in a year. I've seen it plenty of times growing up. Sure, but have you seen it recently? Why does that matter? No reason. Enjoy your purchase. I hung up, waited. 3 days later, Marcus called. Furious. Claire, I went to look at the property to plan the development. And it's a swamp, the entire 10 acres, wetland and rocks. Yes, as described in the deed, Parcel B, 10 acres of wetland and steep rocky slope. You didn't tell me it was swamp. I didn't have to. It's in the deed. Survey file 24-0315, filed with Monroe County, public record. You could have looked it up before signing. You tricked me. I offered to sell you my portion of the property, which I did, 10 legally surveyed acres. You agreed to the purchase price. You signed the deed. You wired the money. Where's the trick? You kept the house, the lake, the orchard, everything valuable. I kept Parcel A, 40 acres. You bought Parcel B, 10 acres. The property was legally divided. You could have asked for the survey before signing. You didn't. This is fraud. This is exactly what you tried to do to me. Trick me into selling cheap. Except you were trying to get the whole property for $250,000. I just wanted to keep the valuable parts, so I divided it legally, and you bought the worthless part for $300,000. I'm suing you. Go ahead. Every document is legal, filed, recorded. Your signature is on the deed. You wired payment. You own 10 acres of swamp. Congratulations. He hung up, called his lawyer. Who called my lawyer? Your client committed fraud, selling worthless land without disclosure. My lawyer. My client sold legally surveyed land with full disclosure. The deed explicitly describes the parcel as wetland and rocky slope. Your client signed without reading. That's not fraud. That's stupidity. Marcus's lawyer. We're filing a complaint with the county. It's in my lawyer. File away. The survey is on public record. The division is legal. The sale is complete. You have no case. They filed anyway. The county reviewed, concluded legal property division. Both parcels clearly marked. Full disclosure indeed. No fraud found. Marcus tried to sell Parcel B, couldn't find a buyer. Wetlands are protected, can't develop them, can't build on them, can't drain them. They're essentially worthless except for conservation purposes. He'd paid $300,000 for land worth maybe $10,000. And I'd kept the 40 acres worth $890,000. He tried to sue for partition, forced me to sell the whole property and split proceeds 50-50. The judge. The property has already been partitioned, legally, voluntarily. You purchased one parcel, your sister owns the other, there's nothing to partition, case dismissed. Marcus stopped speaking to me. Stephanie sent a nasty email calling me vindictive and cruel. I didn't respond, just enjoyed my house, my lake, my orchard, all 40 beautiful, valuable acres. The acres Marcus had spent 2 years trying to steal from me for pennies on the dollar. The canoe incident happened 3 months after the sale. Marcus showed up unannounced, brought a canoe, told me he was going to inspect his investment. I watched from the porch as he carried it to Parcel B, launched it into the wetland, paddled around for 20 minutes, tried to find solid ground, couldn't, tried to reach the rocky slope, too steep, tried to imagine any possible use for this land, failed. He paddled back, dragged the canoe out, covered in mud, defeated. Satisfied with your inspection, I called, "You're a terrible person." I'm a smart person who learned from a terrible brother. I was trying to help you. You were trying to help yourself by tricking me into selling our family land cheap so you could flip it for $1 million and keep all the profit. That's not... Marcus, I found the emails to the developer offering to sell the full 50 acres for $900,000 behind my back, while telling me we should liquidate assets. You were planning to cut me out entirely. His face went red. You went through my email? Stephanie forwarded them accidentally, meant to send them to someone else. I got them instead. Read everything, your whole plan. Buy me out cheap. Claim you wanted to keep the property, then immediately sell to the developer. Keep all the profit. Silence. So, no, Marcus, I don't feel bad about selling you swampland. You tried to steal $800,000 from me. I stole $300,000 from you instead. I'd call that fair. We're family. Family doesn't scheme, doesn't lie, doesn't manipulate. You stopped being family when you tried to steal mom and dad's legacy. I have 2 kids to put through college. So do I. Or I will when my kids are older, but I won't fund their education by stealing from my sister. He left. Haven't spoken since, but I still have the land, still visit 3 times a week, still maintain the orchard, still swim in the lake, still home. Marcus has 10 acres of swamp and a $300,000 lesson in reading contracts before signing, worth every penny. 6 months after the swamp sale, I got a call from a conservation group. Ms. Morrison, we're interested in parcel B of the Morrison property, the wetlands parcel. That's my brother's parcel, not mine. We understand, we've contacted him, he's willing to sell. He said to talk to you about access. Access? The only road to parcel B crosses your property, your 40 acres. He says you'd have to grant an easement. He's right, I would. Would you be willing to do that? For conservation purposes? What's the offer? We can pay $15,000 for the 10 acres. It's all we can budget for wetland preservation. $15,000 for land Marcus paid $300,000 for. I'll grant the easement on one condition. What's that? Marcus has to ask me, in person, politely. We'll let him know. Marcus showed up 3 days later, looking defeated. The conservation group needs an easement across your land. I know. Will you grant it? Why should I? Because I'm losing $285,000 on this deal, and the least you could do is let me salvage $15,000. The least I could do? Marcus, the least I could do is let you keep paying property taxes on worthless swamp forever. $15,000 is your way out, but you have to ask nicely. He took a breath, visibly swallowed his pride. Claire, will you please grant an easement for the conservation group to access parcel B? Since you asked so nicely, yes, I'll grant the easement for a $10 annual fee. $10? Legal easements require compensation. $10 is compensation. Take it or leave it. Fine, $10. Payable every January 1st, in perpetuity. If you're late, easement is revoked. You're impossible. I'm fair. You tried to cheat me out of $500,000. I'm charging you $10 a year for road access. That's more than fair. He sold to the conservation group, netted $15,000, lost $285,000 total. I kept the land, paid $10 annually for the satisfaction of knowing Marcus would never profit from trying to steal from me. Small price for justice. A year after the swamp sale, I got another call, this time from a lawyer I didn't know. Ms. Morrison, I represent the estate of Margaret Morrison. Your aunt? Aunt Margaret passed away? 3 weeks ago. I apologize for the delay in contacting you. We've been trying to reach your brother Marcus first, as he was listed as primary beneficiary. My heart sank. Primary beneficiary for what? Her estate, approximately $275,000, plus mineral rights to a property in Colorado worth approximately $100,000 more. And Marcus is getting all of it? No, that's why I'm calling. Marcus was primary beneficiary with a condition. The will states, I leave my estate to my nephew Marcus Morrison, provided he has maintained family relationships with integrity and honesty. If, in the judgment of my executor, Marcus has violated family trust through deception or manipulation, the estate instead goes to my niece Claire Morrison. Wait, what? My job as executor was to investigate whether Marcus met that condition. I spoke with family members, friends, reviewed court records, found the lawsuit about the property division, found the conservation sale records, found his emails to the developer. And I've determined Marcus violated family trust through attempted deception and manipulation. Therefore, per the will's terms, you inherit the full estate, 275,000 cash, 100,000 in mineral rights. Congratulations. I sat down. Aunt Margaret knew. She knew Marcus's character, and she planned accordingly. Your inheritance is being processed. You should receive funds within 60 days. $375,000, because Aunt Margaret saw through Marcus's schemes. I called him to gloat. Couldn't help myself. Marcus. Aunt Margaret died. I know. I've been trying to reach her executor for 3 weeks. I just spoke with him. About my inheritance? About my inheritance, which I'm getting instead of you, because you failed the integrity condition. Silence. What integrity condition? The one that said you only get the money if you haven't violated family trust through deception or manipulation. The executor investigated. Found your property scheme awarded the estate to me instead, $375,000. That's not fair. Really? You tried to steal $450,000 from me. Lost $300,000 on swampland. Lost $375,000 from Aunt Margaret. You're down $675,000 total. I'm up $675,000 total. I'd call that cosmically fair. You're destroying this family. No, Marcus. You destroyed it when you chose greed over integrity. I'm just collecting what you threw away. He hung up. I laughed. Use the money to fully renovate the house. New roof, new septic, updated kitchen, modern bathroom. Everything Mom and Dad's house needed, plus established a trust fund for my kids' education. Fully funded. $300,000. They'll never need to steal from family to pay for college. Unlike Marcus's kids, who I hear are taking out significant loans. Karma's a swamp, Marcus. 2 years after the original sale, I'm sitting on my porch, overlooking the lake, eating an apple from the orchard. The house is perfect. The land is pristine. The property taxes are paid. Marcus's $10 arrived yesterday. Right on time, January 1st. Annual easement fee. I framed it, hung it in my office next to the deed for Parcel A. Reminder that family loyalty is earned, not demanded. That greed has consequences. That property is more than assets to liquidate, it's legacy to preserve. Marcus tried to trick me into selling our family land for $250,000. I sold him 10 acres of swamp for $300,000 instead. He thought he was buying my half of the property. He was. The worthless half. I kept the valuable 40 acres, worth $890,000, plus got $375,000 from Aunt Margaret, plus saved $6,000 annually in property taxes by making Marcus pay for his own parcel until he sold it. Total gain, approximately $1.2 million in value and savings. Marcus's total loss, $675,000 in cash, plus the family property he tried to steal. All because he didn't read the deed before signing. The developer he'd been secretly negotiating with called me last month. Made an offer. Ms. Morrison, we're still interested in the Morrison property. We'd offer $1.1 million for the full 50 acres, including the wetlands parcel now owned by the Conservation Group. The wetlands aren't mine to sell. We know. But we'd need your 40 acres to make the development viable. We'd pay you $1 million for your parcel alone. Let me think about it. I thought about it for exactly 3 seconds. No, thank you. This property isn't for sale. Not for $1 million, not for $10 million, not ever. But my parents bought this land for $35,000 in 1978. They built a life here, raised a family, created a legacy. That's not for sale at any price. I understand, but if you change your mind, I won't. Thank you for the offer. I hung up, looked at the house Dad built, the orchard Mom planted, the lake where I learned to swim. Marcus thought this was just an asset. Just land to liquidate. He was wrong. This is home, this is history, this is legacy, and no amount of money, not 1 million, not 10 million, could ever replace what this land means. So I'm keeping it, all 40 acres. Marcus can keep his swamp, his $10 annual easement fee, his expensive lesson in greed, and I'll keep everything else. Fair trade. The months between the survey and the sale were carefully orchestrated. I needed Marcus to believe he was winning, that he'd finally convinced me to sell, that he was, getting a deal. I started dropping hints in April. Small complaints. The property taxes are really adding up, 6,000 this year. The roof needs work. Got a quote, $22,000. The septic system is making noises. That could be 15,000 to replace. Marcus picked up on every hint. See? I told you, the property is becoming a money pit. Let me buy you out, save you the headache. I'm thinking about it. Really? What's changed? Reality. You were right. I can't afford to keep maintaining this place alone. Finally, some sense. So, 300,000? I need to get some things in order first. Legal stuff. Make sure the deed is clear. Of course, take your time, but not too much time. My offer won't last forever. I smiled. Let him think he had leverage. In reality, I was preparing the perfect trap. Matthew the surveyor filed the division in late April. Parcel A, 40 acres of prime land. Parcel B, 10 acres of worthless swamp. The filing was public record, available to anyone. Marcus could have checked, could have seen that the property had been surveyed and divided. He didn't check. Why would he? He trusted that I was desperate, that I needed his money, that I'd sell without resistance. Mistake number 1. My lawyer drafted the deed in early May. Very careful language. Sale of Parcel B as described in Survey 24-0315, filed with Monroe County Clerk's Office on April 23, 2024. Said parcel consists of 10 acres bounded by the coordinates, and then the description. Detailed, specific, technical. Parcel consisting primarily of wetland area, including seasonal flooding zone, marsh vegetation, protected waterfowl habitat, and steep rocky slope exceeding 45-degree grade. Elevation ranges from... Every detail Marcus needed to understand he was buying swampland. Every detail he ignored. My lawyer asked, "Are you sure about this? When Marcus realizes what he bought, he'll accuse you of fraud." It's not fraud if it's disclosed. Everything is in the deed. If he doesn't read it, that's on him. He'll sue anyway. Let him. We have documentation, survey, filing, clear description, his signature, his wire transfer. We're bulletproof. Legally, yes. Morally? Morally? Marcus tried to steal $450,000 from me through deception. I'm selling him exactly what he's buying. 10 acres, clearly described. That's not immoral, that's fair. The lawyer shrugged. Your family, your choice. I sent the papers to Marcus in mid-May, printed everything, 43 pages, deed, survey reference, legal description, title report, all of it. I included a cover letter. Marcus, attached are the documents for your purchase of my portion of the Morrison family property. Please review carefully and sign where indicated. Wire transfer of $300,000. Due within 3 business days of execution. Review carefully. I put it in writing. My due diligence. Marcus called 2 hours after receiving the package. I got the papers. Good. Any questions? Just one. When can we close? As soon as you sign and wire payment. I'll sign today, wire tomorrow. We can close this week. Did you review everything? My lawyer skimmed it. Standard deed language. Nothing unusual. Your lawyer skimmed 43 pages? Claire, it's a property transfer between family. We don't need to read every word, it's straightforward. Mistake number two. If you're sure, I'm sure. Stephanie and I are already planning the development. We're thinking 4 vacation rentals, maybe a small wedding venue. This land has potential. I didn't correct him, didn't warn him, didn't say a word. The deed clearly described wetlands. If he didn't read it, that was his problem. He signed, scanned the documents, emailed them back, wired $300,000. My bank account updated. $300,000. From Marcus Morrison? For Parcel B, I called my lawyer. It's done. He signed without reading? Without reading. Then he deserves what's coming. Yes, he does. The money sat in my account for 3 days. I didn't touch it. Didn't spend it. Wanted to make sure the wire was legitimate, that Marcus couldn't claim fraud and reverse it. On day 4, I transferred $200,000 to a high-yield savings account, $50,000 to a renovation fund for the house, $50,000 to an investment account, allocated, protected, secure. Marcus called that same day, excited. Claire, the money transferred. We're official. Yes, we are. I'm coming up this weekend, going to walk the property, take measurements, start planning. You're welcome to visit your parcel anytime. My parcel. I like the sound of that. I thought you would. Stephanie's thrilled. She's already picking paint colors for the rentals. Good for Stephanie. I hung up, waited. Saturday came. I was at the house, doing yard work, saw Marcus's car pull up. He got out, waved. Hey, Claire. Beautiful day. Gorgeous. Where's my section? I've got the survey map, but I want to see it in person. It's the back 10 acres, past the forest. Follow the trail, you'll see the markers. Great. I brought my camera, going to document everything. He headed into the woods. I went back to weeding the garden. 90 minutes later, he came back. Not excited anymore, confused, frustrated. Claire, I think the survey is wrong. Wrong how? The markers lead to a wetland, a swamp. That can't be right. That's exactly right. Your 10 acres, parcel B, mostly wetland. But I'm supposed to build vacation rentals. I can't build on wetlands. No, you can't. Wetlands are protected. No development allowed. Then why did you sell me wetlands? Because that's what you bought. Parcel B, 10 acres, as described in the deed, which you signed. The deed said wetlands? The deed said parcel consisting primarily of wetland area, including seasonal flooding zone, marsh vegetation, protected waterfowl habitat. Yes, it very clearly said wetlands. I didn't see that. You didn't read it. That's different. His face went red. You knew. You knew it was worthless, and you sold it to me anyway. I sold you exactly what was described. You chose not to read the description. That's not my fault. This is fraud. This is a legal property sale. You wanted to buy my portion of the property. I divided the property legally. You bought one parcel. I kept the other. Everything is documented, filed, legal. You kept all the valuable land. Yes, because I love this place and wanted to keep the parts worth keeping. You wanted to buy me out cheap and then develop. So I gave you something to develop. Unfortunately for you, it's undevelopable. I paid $300,000 for swamp. You paid $300,000 for 10 legally surveyed acres that you didn't inspect before purchasing. That's buyer's negligence, not seller's fraud. I'm suing you. Go ahead. The deed is clear. The survey is filed. Your signature is on the papers. Good luck. He left, tires screeching, furious. I went back to weeding, smiled the whole time. Marcus hired a lawyer within a week, filed a complaint alleging fraud, misrepresentation, and undue influence. The complaint argued defendant Claire Morrison knowingly sold plaintiff Marcus Morrison worthless wetland property while concealing the true nature of the land. Defendant engaged in deliberate deception by describing the land as 10 acres, without clarifying that said acres were undevelopable swampland. Plaintiff relied on familial trust and reasonable assumption that defendant would act in good faith. My lawyer responded with a motion to dismiss. Plaintiff's complaint fails as a matter of law. The deed explicitly describes the property as wetland. Survey file 24-0315, publicly filed, clearly delineates the parcel boundaries and terrain features. Plaintiff signed the deed after receiving 43 pages of documentation. Plaintiff's failure to read said, "Documentation does not constitute fraud by defendant. Motion to dismiss granted." The judge agreed. Case dismissed. Marcus owed my legal fees. $4,000 he paid. Sent a check with theft written in the memo line. I deposited it, added the $4,000 to my renovation fund. Marcus tried to sell parcel B immediately. Listed it for $150,000. 10 pristine acres of Vermont wilderness. No buyers. Any serious buyer would do due diligence. Read the survey. Discover the wetlands. Pass. He dropped the price. $100,000, $75,000, $50,000. Still no buyers. Prime conservation land. Nature lovers' paradise. Finally, the conservation group reached out. Offered $15,000. Marcus called me, defeated. Conservation group wants to buy. For $15,000? Congratulations. I'm losing $285,000. Yes, you are. I need the easement across your land for them to access the parcel. I know. Will you grant it? For $10 annually, as I told them. $10 is insulting. $285,000 in losses is educational. Pay the $10 or keep the swamp. Your choice. He paid. First payment arrived in January. Exactly on time. I framed it. Hung it next to a photo of Dad building the house. Reminder that integrity matters more than money. But money's nice when it comes from someone who tried to steal from you. The Aunt Margaret inheritance came 6 months later. That was purely bonus. I hadn't known about the condition in her will. Hadn't known she was testing Marcus, but Aunt Margaret knew. She'd watched Marcus try to manipulate her into changing her estate plans, giving him power of attorney, signing over property. She'd refused every time. Told him, "I'll leave you everything, but only if you earn it." He didn't earn it. He tried to steal from his sister. Aunt Margaret's executor discovered the property scheme during his investigation. Interviewed neighbors, family friends, county clerks, found the lawsuit, the conservation sale, the emails to developers. Concluded, Marcus violated family trust through deception and manipulation. Award goes to Claire instead. $375,000. I used it to renovate the house completely. New roof, new septic, new kitchen, new bathrooms, everything. The house Mom and Dad built is now perfect, modern, updated, ready for another 40 years. And Marcus got nothing. Lost everything he tried to steal. Poetic justice. A year later, I planted a garden where Marcus used to park when he visited. Vegetables, flowers, herbs. That spot now produces food instead of hosting his entitled complaints. Emma, my daughter, helps me tend it. She's 14 now, learning about the land, about stewardship, about legacy. Mom, why did Uncle Marcus try to steal our land? Because he saw it as money, not memories. That's sad. Yes, it is. Are we ever going to sell? Never. This land is yours someday, yours and your brother's. You'll decide what to do with it, but I hope you keep it. I will. I love it here. Good. That's what it's supposed to be. Home. Marcus's kids, my nieces, don't visit anymore. Stephanie forbade it, said I'm a toxic influence. I sent them birthday cards anyway, with photos of the property, the lake, the orchard, the house. This is your heritage, too, even if your father tried to sell it. You're always welcome here. Never got responses, but I kept sending. Every year, they deserve to know where they came from, even if their father forgot. Last month, the developer called again. Same guy who'd been negotiating with Marcus. Ms. Morrison, I heard about the property division, the lawsuit, the conservation sale. I have to say that was brilliant. Thank you. I'm serious. Marcus was trying to sell us 50 acres for 900,000. We'd have developed the entire property, displaced the wetlands, clear-cut the forest, built luxury vacation homes. I know. I saw the plans in his emails. You stopped that by outsmarting him. Now 40 acres are preserved in your ownership. 10 acres are permanent conservation. We can't develop any of it. That was the goal. You're a preservationist. I'm a daughter who loved her parents and the home they built. Preservation was a side effect. Well, for what it's worth, we respect that. We won't bother you again. I appreciate it. He paused. Can I ask you something? Sure. Do you feel guilty about the swamp sale? Not even a little bit. Why not? Because Marcus tried to steal from me first, tried to manipulate me into selling for a quarter of market value, tried to cut me out of profits entirely. The swamp sale was self-defense, financial self-defense. Would I feel guilty defending myself from a physical attack? Fair point. Marcus lost money because he was greedy. I kept land because I was smart. That's not cruelty, that's justice. I like that, justice. So do I. We hung up. I looked at the lake, the orchard, the house, all still here, all still mine, all still home, worth every bit of the fight, worth outsmarting Marcus, worth the lawsuit, worth the family fracture. Because some things are worth more than money, more than peace, more than family approval. Home is worth fighting for, legacy is worth protecting, and integrity is worth maintaining. Even when, especially when family members have lost theirs. Marcus wanted to liquidate assets. I liquidated his greed instead. Fair trade. 3 years after the swamp sale, I received a letter, handwritten, from Marcus. Not Stephanie's handwriting, his. I almost threw it away, almost burned it unread. But curiosity won. Claire, I'm writing because my therapist says I need to take accountability, says I need to acknowledge harm I've caused. So here it is. I tried to steal from you. I saw Mom and Dad's property as money, not legacy. I saw your attachment as weakness, not love. I tried to manipulate you into selling cheap so I could profit. That was wrong, deeply wrong. And you called me on it, in the most expensive, humiliating way possible. I lost $285,000, plus another $375 from Aunt Margaret, plus the relationship with my sister. The money hurts, but losing you hurts more. I don't expect forgiveness, I don't deserve it, but I wanted you to know I finally understand what I did. And I'm sorry, Marcus. I read it 3 times, looking for manipulation, for hidden agenda, for the angle, found nothing, just accountability and regret. I didn't respond immediately. Sat with it for 2 weeks. Finally wrote back. Marcus, I appreciate your apology. I accept your accountability, but forgiveness takes time. Trust takes longer. You spent years trying to steal from me. I can't undo that hurt with one letter. Maybe someday we can rebuild, but not today. Not yet. For now, I'm glad you understand what you did. That's progress. The land is still here, still home, still not for sale. If you ever want to visit, actually visit, not scheme, let me know. Claire. I mailed it, felt lighter somehow. Not forgiveness, not reconciliation, but acknowledgement, progress. Marcus didn't respond, but 3 months later he sent a card for Emma's birthday. To Emma, happy 15th birthday. I'm sorry I haven't been a better uncle. Love, Uncle Marcus. Emma looked at me. Should I respond? If you want to. I don't really know him. I know, but maybe you will someday. Maybe he's trying to be better. Do people change? Sometimes. With enough consequences. She wrote back, simple card. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Hope you're well. Small step, but a step. Marcus called in the fall. First time I'd heard his voice in 2 years. Claire? Marcus, I wanted to let you know Stephanie and I are divorcing. I'm sorry. Don't be. It's been coming for years. Turns out losing $300,000 on swampland puts strain on a marriage. That's why you lost $300,000, not me. I know that now. Stephanie doesn't see it that way. She blames you, but I blame me. I made those choices. I tried to cheat you. You just beat me at my own game. Why are you telling me this? Because I wanted you to hear it from me, that I finally get it, that I take responsibility, and because, pause, because what? Because the kids are asking about the property, about their grandparents, about where they grew up. And I've been telling them lies, that you stole it, that you manipulated me, that you're the villain. And now? Now I'm telling them the truth, that I tried to steal it, that you protected it, that you're the hero, not the villain. I sat down. You told them that? This week, after my therapist said I owe them honesty. They didn't believe me at first, thought I was covering for you, but I showed them the emails, the ones to the developer, the scheme to sell behind your back. They read everything. How did they take it? They're angry, disappointed, hurt. They thought I was better than that. I'm sorry. Don't be. I earned their disappointment just like I earned losing the money, just like I earned losing you. Marcus. Can I bring them to visit the property? I know I have no right to ask, but they want to see where their grandparents lived, where I grew up, where their aunt kept our family legacy alive. I thought about it. Yes, they can visit, you can visit, but Marcus, if you try anything, any scheme, any manipulation, I won't, I promise. This is about them, not me. They deserve to know their history. Okay, come next weekend, Saturday afternoon, we'll walk the property. They came. Marcus, his daughter Sarah, his son Michael, both teenagers now, both curious. Sarah looked like my mother. Same eyes, same smile. Michael looked like Dad. Same build, same walk. I showed them the house Dad built. Room by room, they touched the walls. Imagined Grandpa sawing every board, hammering every nail. He built this, all of it, Sarah asked. Every square inch. Why? Because he wanted to create something permanent, something real, something his kids would inherit. Michael looked at Marcus. And you tried to sell it, Marcus? Yes, I did, and your Aunt Claire stopped me. Good, Michael said. This place is amazing. We walked the orchard, showed them Mom's trees, explained her grafting techniques, her pruning methods. Sarah picked an apple, ate it. This tastes better than store apples. Because your grandmother planted it, because the land is healthy, because it's grown with love. Can we plant a tree for Grandma? Absolutely. We planted a cherry tree together, all 5 of us. Dug the hole, set the roots, watered it in. This tree will outlive all of us, I said. 50 years from now, your grandchildren might eat cherries from this tree. That's legacy. Marcus wiped his eyes. This is what I almost destroyed, but didn't, because I fought for it. I'm glad you did. We walked the lake, showed them where I learned to swim, where Dad used to fish, where Mom would read books on summer afternoons. Can we swim? Michael asked. It's October, too cold. Maybe next summer? Maybe next summer. Sarah turned to me. Aunt Claire, are you going to sell this place? Ever? No, it'll go to my kids someday, Emma and James. They'll decide what to do with it. But what if they don't want it? Then maybe it'll go to you and Michael, if you want it. Really? Really. This land is family legacy. Not just my family, all of us. Your grandfather built this house. Your grandmother planted these trees. That belongs to all of us. I just happen to be protecting it right now. Marcus. Claire, you don't have to. I want to. These kids are part of this legacy. They deserve the option. If Emma and James want it, great. If not, Sarah and Michael get first refusal. Deal? Deal. We shook hands. First time I'd touched my brother in 3 years. Sarah, Dad, can we visit again? Like regularly? Marcus looked at me. Can we? Yes. Monthly? We can make it a standing date. I'd like that. They've been coming monthly for 2 years now. Every third Saturday. Marcus, Sarah, Michael. Sometimes Emma and James join. Sometimes it's just the Morrison cousins. They've learned to maintain the orchard, to prune trees, to identify pests, to harvest properly. Sarah's studying environmental science, says she wants to be a land conservationist. Like Aunt Claire. I'm not a conservationist. I'm just stubborn. Same thing. Michael's studying architecture, wants to build houses like Grandpa did. With my hands, making something real. Marcus watches them, sees what he almost lost, what he almost destroyed. Thank you, he told me last month, for saving this for them. You're welcome. I don't deserve this after what I did. No, you don't, but they do, and I'm doing this for them, not you. Fair. But Marcus, you're doing better, trying harder, being honest. That counts for something. Does it count for forgiveness? Ask me in 5 years. Fair. Last week, the county contacted me, Historical Preservation Committee. Ms. Morrison, we'd like to designate the Morrison homestead as a county historical landmark. Original construction, 1978 through 81. Builder, Thomas Morrison. Still maintained by family. Significant example of self-built homesteading in the region. What does that designation mean? Property tax reduction, protection from development, historical marker, recognition of cultural significance. I'm interested. They visited, assessed, documented, photographed, approved the designation. Plaque installed last month, Morrison family, homestead, built by Thomas Morrison, 1978. Preserved by Morrison family descendants, county historical landmark. Marcus brought the kids to see it. Sarah read it aloud, touched the plaque, started crying. This is Grandpa's name on a landmark, forever. Yes, it is. Because you kept it. If you'd sold to Dad, this would all be vacation rentals. Grandpa's name would be forgotten. Exactly. Thank you, Aunt Claire, for fighting, for protecting this, for keeping Grandpa alive. I hugged her. You're welcome, Marcus. I would have destroyed this. I would have erased Dad's legacy for money. How did I not see that? Because you saw assets, not meaning, buildings, not memories, land, not legacy. I'm sorry. I know. Will you ever truly forgive me? I'm working on it. Give me time. 5 years since the swamp sale now. Marcus paid his annual $10 easement fee right on schedule. Sent a card with it. Easiest $10 I spend all year. Reminds me not to be greedy. The swamp parcel B is now a wetland preserve, protected in perpetuity, habitat for migrating birds, breeding ground for amphibians, carbon sink, ecological treasure, worth more as swamp than it ever would have been as vacation rentals. Marcus visited the preserve last month. Conservation group gave him a tour. This wetland supports 37 species of birds, 12 amphibian species, countless insects. It's ecologically critical. Marcus, I tried to drain this, to build on it, to destroy it. You didn't, though. Your sister stopped you. Yes, she did. He called me afterward. Thank you for selling me swamp. You're welcome. I'm serious. That swamp taught me more than business school, more than therapy, more than anything. It taught me that not everything is about profit, that some things have value beyond money. That's profound, Marcus. I paid $300,000 for that lesson. It better be profound. I laughed, actually laughed, with my brother, first time in years. Maybe we're healing, I said. Maybe we are. Emma graduated high school last month, accepted to forestry school, wants to study sustainable land management. I want to protect places like our land, help other families keep their homesteads, make sure developers don't erase history. You'll be amazing at that. I learned from you, Mom. You showed me what's worth fighting for. What's that? Home, legacy, family, the things that matter more than money. Did I teach you that? Every day. Every time you talk about Grandpa building the house, every time we walk the orchard, every time you explain why you'll never sell. Yes, Mom, you taught me that. James. My son is studying business, wants to be an ethical investor. Like the opposite of what Uncle Marcus tried to do. That's very specific. I know, but someone needs to show that business doesn't have to be ruthless, that you can make money and maintain integrity. You learned that from the swamp sale? I learned that people who try to cheat get swamps. People who maintain integrity get legacies. I want to be in the legacy business. I love that. The property is worth $2.3 million now. 40 acres of prime Vermont land, lake, house, orchard, historical designation. I could sell, retire wealthy, live anywhere. I'm staying. This isn't about money, never was. This is about honoring Mom and Dad, about preserving what they built, about teaching my kids and Marcus's kids that some things transcend profit. Last month, a filmmaker contacted me. Documentary about family land preservation. Your story is incredible. Brother tries to steal, sister outsmarts him with swamp, family reconciliation, historical landmark. Can we film? What's the documentary about? Families fighting to keep land against development pressure. You're a perfect example. You beat greed with cleverness, kept legacy alive, reconciled with family, taught the next generation everything we're trying to highlight. Will it help other families? Absolutely. Showing that it's possible to protect land, that developers can be beaten, that family fractures can heal. Your story gives people hope. Then, yes, film whatever you need. They filmed for 3 weeks, interviewed me, Marcus, the kids, neighbors, the surveyor, the conservation group. Documentary releases next year. Working title, The Swamp Sale, How One Woman Protected Her Family Legacy. Marcus. I'm the villain in this story. You're the cautionary tale, but also the redemption arc. You tried to steal, lost everything, learned your lesson, changed. That's important too. People are going to hate me. People should. What you did was terrible, but what you're doing now, owning it, changing, teaching your kids better, that's admirable. Think I can show my face at the premiere? I think you should. Accountability is brave. The premiere is scheduled for June. Film festival in Vermont. The Morrison family will attend. All of us. Claire, Marcus, our kids. Even Stephanie Marcus's ex is coming. She's remarried now. Happier. Says she wants to see how the story ends. Does it end? I asked Marcus. Does what end? Our story, the family drama, the land saga. Does it ever end? I don't think so. I think legacy is ongoing. We're building it. The kids will continue it. Their kids after that. It doesn't end, it evolves. That's beautifully said. I've had $300,000 and 5 years to think about it. Better be beautiful. I'm 68 now. Emma and James are in their 20s. Marcus is 73. Slowing down, talking about retirement. What will you do when you retire? So I asked him. Move back if you'll have me? Move back where? Here, Vermont, near the property, not on it. I don't deserve to live on it, but near it, so I can visit. Help maintain it. Watch the grandkids, yours, and mine learn the land. You want to move back? To the place you spent 20 years trying to escape? I escaped the wrong thing. I thought I was escaping isolation. I was actually escaping meaning. Now I want it back. There's a house for sale, 3 miles from here. 2 bedrooms. Nice view. I'll look at it. He bought it. Moved in last month. Lives 3 miles from the Morrison property. Visits twice a week. Helps with maintenance. Teaches the grandkids. Makes amends. Yesterday we sat on the porch, watching sunset over the lake. Same porch Dad built. Same lake where we learned to swim. Claire, can I ask you something? Sure. Do you regret it? The swamp sale, the lawsuit, the years we didn't speak? Do I regret protecting our family legacy from someone trying to steal it? No. I mean the way you did it, the trick, the swamp. Marcus, you tried to trick me into selling for pennies on the dollar. I just beat you at your own game. No regrets. What if I hadn't learned? What if I'd stayed bitter? Stayed estranged? Then that would have been your choice. I gave you exactly what you deserved. What you did with that lesson was up to you. I guess I chose to learn. You did, and I'm glad. But I'd do it again. Even if you hadn't learned. Because some things are worth fighting for, whether the other person learns or not. The land was worth it. The land, the legacy, the principle, all worth it. He nodded. Thank you. For what? For being stronger than me, smarter than me, better than me. If you'd been weak, I'd have stolen everything. If you'd been forgiving, I'd never have learned. You were exactly who we needed you to be. I was just protecting what I loved. And you did. Perfectly. We sat in silence, watching the sunset. Same sun that set when Mom and Dad built this place. Same sun that will set when Emma's kids inherit it. Legacy doesn't end. It continues, because someone fought for it. I fought with swampland and stubbornness, with legal cleverness and moral clarity, and I won. Marcus lost money, gained wisdom, found redemption. The property survived, thrived, became history. And that's worth more than any amount of money, more than any family peace, more than any temporary comfort. Because some things, home, legacy, integrity, are truly priceless. And I'll fight for them forever, with swamps if necessary.